On a Saturday afternoon on March 22nd, 2014, in Celo, North Carolina, we got together to celebrate Zeitgeist Day by sharing some videos and a presentation. We ended the afternoon with the following open discussion and sharings. Cutting back more and more of the social safety network programs like Head Start and food stamps and all kinds of things. You have food stamps, you just got your food stamps cut, right?
Well, what I'm seeing there is this, or like I told you before, everybody's trying to make a profit off of the sick. And it just doesn't work. We've had 9 providers in this county in 4 years, and there's a lot of anger and angst and frustration. And I just want to see the basic needs: clean water, halfway decent air, sustainable heat for people, and
Safe, healthy shelter.
yeah, safe, healthy shelter. And like he was saying, when I go into homes, and I'm guilty of it too, my house used to be a mess. You've always heard the thing, cleanliness is next to godliness is next to health. And more and more, here we're supposed to have all this animation and all this stuff to help us and save time. We have, all these gadgets that save us time and labor. Why are our houses so messy? I got to thinking.
It's because we don't have the robots yet to clean them up.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
They're definitely in development though. It's
But-
currently only available to the top
Rich.
percent.
They're getting
Yeah.
there. That's right.
But I think, like what you were
Vacuuming
saying,
robots
you
now
go in
that
some
you can buy.
people's houses.
I've had one of those. They're awesome.
Do you have one?
I used to. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, we named it
They work
Steve.
pretty well?
If you run it every day, it works very well.
Which
The Rumba?
Yeah.
vacuum?
Yeah, iRobot Rumba. iRobot makes some absolutely wonderful robotics.
The bad thing about them, at least the generation that we had in our home for a while, it was
Like-
like one of the first generations.
Yeah, it came out of a cave.
It kept getting stuck on like carpet ruffles, and it never, like it kept getting stuck against a wall or like underneath the edge of a couch. It would just get stuck underneath just a little bit, and it would just, it would constant, But they're probably better these days.
But see, the way I look at it is, I want a house with a drain in the middle of the floor and go in there with the hose and just hose everything down and be done in 15 minutes.
If that's what you want, that's something you could eventually have.
And not have the robotics and not have the reliance on metal and sensors and components.
Instead of running the hose, why not throw in a dishwasher spinner?
Because like I live in a tent part of the year to save money, to be able to survive, and that's taught me a lot about what I can do without. So basically, I'm in that thing where they said getting rid of stuff. How many toasters do I need?
Well, I think we need to live a lot more simply as well. The largest aspect of what the Zeitgeist movement is suggesting is that the great majority of the necessities that we all need, food, top quality healthcare, things that we can't do without, those things can be provided in a much more sustainable fashion by centralizing and automating those processes. We could stock Walmart with things that everybody needs, but you don't have to pay for it, just go and pick up what you need.
Yeah.
And we could make it locally, we don't have to make it in China. They do that because that's how they make more profit. We have robots do it for nothing.
Yeah.
So,
See, here in Yancey County, we protect our dumpsters better than we protect our water source.
I noticed that.
And I see all this neat stuff going into the dumpsters. I'm going, damn,
Plus
I could build a house out of that.
That's right, but they won't let you take it, and they don't recycle most of the stuff that you should. be
And then I
recycling.
discovered FreeCycle, and I thought that was a wonderful concept. I think you got some programs in Charlotte too where you go and get stuff for free, like little warehouses and stuff.
You ever seen that?
No.
Well, it's
I was
essentially,
pretty
it's like a bulletin board, automated from a computer where you just offers, you've got something you don't need, you say, hey, it's here in my curbside, come pick it up. I've got a washing machine I don't need sitting out there, it's all yours, come get it.
I think Rutherford County tried to do something like that, but ended up turning it into a,
Business.
like a flea market type thing.
Right, this is what always happens,
Yes.
is that people find some
Yes.
monetary interest because They need money in order to survive.
Exactly. They probably took the idea. It started probably a
But
couple
this is
years
why-
ago.
This is why the value shift
Yeah.
has to come first.
Yes.
Yes.
People have to understand where we're trying to go and why. And that this system that we're talking about, this monetary system that we keep falling back into, is what's creating all the problems in the first place. Those problems would not exist without it. We
I
need to
s-
evolve past it at this point in time, is what it comes down to. It's
I-
served us for a while, but at this point, it's beginning to inhibit our processes of going forward.
I'd like to see libraries of things like tools. Why would I need a drill and it sits there for 300 days a year not used?
Exactly. I've got, one of everything that I'll ever need in my workshop. But I use them, most of them probably haven't touched in over a year.
Yeah.
So I would be delighted to not have to have that cluttering up my house. And every single house is the same way. They're all cluttered up with all these different things.
And I just need a portable drill
But
use
when I
for
need it-
15 hours. That's it. That's all I need it
When I
for.
need it for a project, I'd love to be able to go and take it, get one
Yep. You have this item.
To a library.
to a library.
Yeah. You have this item that you pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for, and you use it 3 times.
Like a kayak or a bike, or you could do it for recreational
Sure.
to a certain extent.
But you see, there's no profit to be made in that. That's why you don't see those solutions emerging in the society that we have right now. We have a wonderful recreation here. We've got a river that's, you can tube on, you can kayak on, you can do a fish on, you can do all these different things. But if you want to do that, you're going to either have to bring your own kayak, bring your own tube, or go down to the store and rent one of these tubes that they have.
And renting is usually about half of the price of the thing itself.
Yeah, or more.
Well,
Do
yeah.
it over once.
Well, we're getting pretty close to the 5 o'clock time here. I don't know how long you guys want to talk. I can sit here and talk as long as you want.
I wish we could keep on meeting because I really learned a lot and I've shifted a lot of the ideas in my mind around.
Well, then it was all worth it for me.
Yeah. But I'd like to keep meeting and keep learning.
Well, there's lots. Do you have access online?
Not much right now, no.
Well, there's a huge abundance of resources. Most of these videos are all free online that I've been sharing today. You took a copy of the book, a couple of copies of the book, you've got the DVD.
That's not the same as knowing what his mind knows.
No?
I've been studying many years.
That's what I'm saying. I want to
There's
access
there's
his.
some people in Asheville that are interested. I recently tried to start up a meetup group in Asheville.
Okay, that's what I'm asking for, a meetup group.
Well, I got down there and I got a few people a couple times that came. Most of the time I go down there and nobody would be there. So the idea is that most people really haven't figured this out yet. They're all scrambling around, figuring out how to survive in a monetary system. They're trying to find a way to survive like you are.
And there is
They don't have
probably,
time to talk about this.
right, there is probably a handful of people that share the same ideas that me and my husband do, but share the complications of,
How do I feed my baby?
yeah, we have to feed our baby. We can't take out 5 hours out of a day, and usually we can't. This was a rarity that he got off work and was able to come and do this,
Well,
or
I'm
else we wouldn't have been
delighted
here
that you
today.
Yeah, I'm glad too.
And we want
Used
to
my
start,
vacation for this.
Yeah,
Maybe,
Well, I
Yeah.
used my vacation to prepare for this.
Yeah.
yeah.
maybe
I took a
we
week
could,
off work to prepare this.
When it's important, you make the time.
maybe we could have a list of who knows what knowledge.
That would be
Because
helpful.
I don't know much about computers and robotics, and I'd like to run some ideas past him.
Well, I
I
tell
don't
you
know how to
what,
put them together.
And somebody might have construction knowledge.
I run and maintain the Zeitgeist North Carolina website.
Okay.
There are 500 and almost 50 people on there right now. Members. There's almost no activity. I'm the only one that posts up there on a regular basis. There are a few other people from time to time that post. But if people were really wanting to connect with other people in their local areas, and that's the purpose of a state site. It's not to exist to get everybody in North Carolina involved in the Zeitgeist North Carolina website. The purpose of the Zeitgeist North Carolina website is to get people in local areas connected with other people in local areas that are interested in knowing more about these ideas so they can get together with one another, talk about it, learn for themselves, and then begin to share it with other people. That's the purpose of the Zeitgeist
Exactly,
chapter
yeah.
system, the chapter structures. So what you need to do is wherever you're located, whether it's here in Celo or in Asheville, you need to try and form a Zeitgeist group. One or two other people that you meet that are interested. You might know somebody now. You said you went and call people. Go and talk with them and share with them some of these ideas. Share these videos, share the book, share the websites with them. Begin talking with them. They're going to have ideas. So that's it. You can't do it alone. None of us are going to alone be able to do this. We can only do this together.
Yeah.
So the more we share this with more and more people, the more it becomes possible. Only 5 of us in the whole state came to this event here. But actually, it's very far up in the mountains, and they didn't want me to advertise because
Yeah.
of the rules in the community.
Who knows how many passed
I
by?
did this because I want to find somebody locally here who can work with me, to meet with me, to talk with me on a regular basis, that can go out to flea markets on a Saturday and sit down with the Zeitgeist table and share it with the public. I want
Yeah.
to have somebody to do these things with me.
Yeah.
But nobody here from the community really showed up today. Pablo was here for a little while, and some other people were here before you guys came.
I was just by chance, I heard about it because I was down at Poplar Grove, a little convenience store, and they're like, this guy walked up and mentioned it to me, asked me what it was about. I'm going, I don't know, but I'll go find out.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you did.
Thank you.
If we
Yeah.
can find a flea market that's in between us and you, and that could be like a neutral thing. So there's tons in Rutherford County. There's probably like 3 that I can think of like right now. But is there one like in the middle? Because it was like an hour and a half for us to get here.
Marion?
Marion, is there any?
I'm sure there are, but, you know, I used to go to Asheville all the time,
Mhm.
and that got to be a burden. I mean, it's an hour and a half to Asheville for me.
Mhm.
So
Like how long is it for you to get here?
I live right here,
Oh, you do.
5 minutes.
Okay.
from here. This is why I had the event here. I
Well,
mean,
wow.
Matt's got a chapter down there in Charlotte. They've got probably, how many people on the North Carolina website are listed in Charlotte?
A pretty good amount. I can't give you a number, but
And of all those people, only one of them made the trip up here today.
Mhm.
And Matt made an effort to get something going down in Charlotte for ZDay also, and he still made it. He's still thinking about it. He'd take some of these videos and books and stuff. And, get something going down there.
yeah, there's a flea market near where I live. I actually live in Concord, but I sort of hang around Charlotte just because the culture there just seems to be a little bit more
Yeah. Yeah.
open-minded
Yeah.
in some areas. But there's a flea market in Salisbury, and I just heard you guys bring it up. So I'm just kind of wondering, why are you guys thinking to do this at a flea market?
That was
Well, it's
good.
just one idea that's out there. It's, there's all
To
kinds
meet
of ideas.
people.
It's kind of difficult to cold approach people about these ideas because they're complex and because they're not so complex. They're pretty simple when it comes down to it. But what it is that they really challenge all the cultural conditioning that we've been raised with since we were born, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the main thing that makes it a challenge in terms of introducing these ideas to people. in a
Are you
cold
saying,
way.
And
are
if-
you saying a flea market would be just a good place to?
Well,
Expose
because people are usually looking for ways. They're there because they're trying to make ends meet, because the system has already started failing for them. That's
And
one
if
of the reasons.
we set up a booth at a flea market, then you have hundreds of people that pass by in one day.
Right, and
just
you're
one
doing
day,
something for
hundreds of
free.
people.
If you're gonna pass out some free DVDs that you've made and stuff like that, right, you're just giving it to them.
That would be a really cool event, just to sort of have like a team with some bags and some DVDs and flyers and just walk around and say, hey, here's this, I got here.
Play the
Sometimes-
videos.
Sometimes flea markets are free. Sometimes they're very low cost. I mean, it might charge you $5 to set up a table, for the day.
At our flea
So
market,
It's an easy way to contact a lot of people in the public.
This would be a little more money, but there is a golden opportunity in April. Mother Earth magazine is having their fair, and they only have like 6 a year in different parts of the United States. It's in Asheville this year, and, it'll be quite a few more years
When is
before
it?
it's back. It's in April, I think, the 11th and 12th, 13th, I'm not sure of the dates, but,
I bet they charge to set up a table.
yeah, but I don't think it'd be like it would be super expensive. I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. I hadn't looked into it. But that's just a suggestion because look at how many like-minded people. It'd be like a golden opportunity. Even if we took up a collection among ourselves, like get donations to get a space. It'd be well worth it. Because you have thousands of people from all over the
When
country.
did you say it is again?
April, I think it's, if you look in the Mother Earth magazine, there's an ad for it. Or you can look it up on the computer.
Well, I'll tell you what, you have the connections in Asheville. I really don't.
Well,
So if you've got-
anybody,
If you've got your friends and stuff down there and you decide you wanna do something like that, I've got some of the resources that I can bring down to support it. I'll bring down DVDs, pass out, I'll bring
then
down
you could
flyers.
come to maybe or whatever.
Possibly.
So I don't know that much about this movement, so I wouldn't feel all that secure, but I would if you would come.
I guess it really just depends on how much the booth
Yeah.
actually is, and like how many people would show up to actually run the booth, and if like say this group together wanted to do it, then yeah, I mean.
Well, see, the problem with us trying to do something is that Matt's 3 hours away, you're an hour and a half away, you're an hour and 15 minutes away. This is not a good situation. I mean, what we're trying to do is spread the understandings and ideas enough in North Carolina until we reach a critical mass where there's 2 or 3 people in one area where they're really, they're
But see,
neighbors.
what I'm
And they
saying,
understand this and they say, hey, let's get together and do
Yeah,
something. We
but
got,
Mother Earth Fair, we could have sign-ups for different counties of North Carolina. There's 100 counties in North Carolina. Because people will be coming from all over North Carolina that weekend. That's like one of the key events.
Well, I went up to Washington DC with one of the Zeitgeist members from Asheville when the Occupy movement started in October of 2011. I was up there for a week. We set up a Zeitgeist table every day for a week. I saw hundreds of people every day. I passed out over 1,000 DVDs that week. Free. And lots of brochures. And I talked myself hoarse every day talking to people. So a lot of people were introduced that day, that week to the Zeitgeist movement and the ideas. Whether they followed up on it or not, I don't know.
Yeah. I think I heard it trickle down from that, from what you did up there. I heard trickles of people talking about this. I don't think it all went to waste as well.
I hope not.
The people that I've found that will actually take a look, I've had to introduce it to them over and over and over.
Like
And
what
can't give up.
But that's the
Well, this
way
is my
every
first
other-
effort to introduce this to this community, and obviously there was no response. I don't
It's
see
only
my
first time.
Not my very first. I actually took my posters and I still co-op Saturday morning and passed out brochures. Talked to some people. But,
I'd say if you went to
inspired by this.
third world country, you'd have a better response than people out of this community. 'Cause I've lived here off and on for 25 years, and when I tell you, it takes a long time
It's a pretty conservative community.
to get to break here. They're very close here. That's why I go to Ashland to get back into what I call civilization. Like you go to Charlotte, Concord, same thing.
Kind of stay in Concord and just kind of keep it quiet sometimes.
But that was just an idea of something concrete that could be done.
Well, see, there are lots of ideas like that. I think we just need to, each of us, work on our own understanding about this first off, because that's the most important thing. That's how you can talk to other people about it. And then try and find other people that you can talk to and then that are willing to share the burden of sharing this further with you.
Do you know if there's a website where I can put up my waterworks idea and collect other people's input?
Which, the idea that you were talking about,
That having a central water work area where people can come and do laundry, wash clothes, dogs, everything, and conserve the water and show how it can be done.
well, if you're in the Asheville area, you might try the Transition Asheville group.
What's that? You keep saying Asheville, I'm not really in the Asheville area, I'm in the western North Carolina area. I'm
Okay.
in the East Coast area. Okay, so what's it called, transitional?
Transition Asheville.
Transition.
Generally, the Zeitgeist, well, I would say, go to the Zeitgeist North Carolina website, and you could probably get some people that might be interested in discussing it. But really, our focus is on trying to create educational awareness and groups and chapters. It's not about technical solutions right now because of the reasons that I've been sharing today. But it's much more important to understand the value shift that needs to occur first. Technical solutions are multitudinous. And the more you look into it, the more you understand that. You understand that we have everything we need
To fix it.
to be in abundance right now for everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I wanna know what those solutions are.
But you'll never see them as long as we exist within a monetary system. Just remember that.
That's just something that, the first part of it helps, it's my take on resource economy, the way I understand it. I'm just going to read the little first part that
Sure.
I've written. See, resource,
My thing?
yes I do. All right. Resource economics may sound like an unachievable dream to some, but nothing could be further from the truth. Truth is, we've encountered resource economics many
Turn around
times.
to the camera. Maybe you can move over there and speak to the camera.
Certainly, certainly. See. Truth is, we've encountered resource economics many times throughout our lives. For many of us, we experience it on a daily basis. We simply call it by different names. I call it home and family. When I fix dinner at home, I don't trade or charge for my family to come join me. I simply say dinner's done and revel in the enjoyment as people I love gather together to have their needs met. No one pays me to cut the grass, paint the walls, take out the trash, or etc. I do these things because it's my home. To me, the concept of resource economics is to build the best life I can with the resources I have available. It's not the money that motivates me, but instead it's love of home and family. In order to fully embrace the concept of global economic resources presented by the Zeitgeist movement, all one must do is expand their concept of what home and family are. My house is my home. That's where my wife and daughter are. I call North Carolina home because that's where I find my brothers, sisters, mom and dad. The United States is home because where I have a multitude of friends and family. Each I feel deeply for. When I see pictures of starving people, civil injustice, people ruined by environmental desolation, I'm overwhelmed by the sadness that comes over me. I don't know any of these people, but I feel for them. That's how I know that they are family and the earth is my home. Home is only as small as your heart. The question is, what can I do? Can't cook for them all, can't take out all their trash, I can't give them all houses, or can I? Until I found the Zeitgeist movement, I believed there was no answer. There was nothing I could do. The monetary system, in the monetary system, my hands are tied. But by resource economics, everything is possible. All we need are like-minded people that care and the resources to make it happen. And that's the beginning of that.
Would you like to continue? Is that the rest?
I could, but a lot of it has, well, it may be helpful to somewhere along the way. So where do we get the resources in a moneyless society? Easy, just take out the neighbor's trash. Most items today are made from recyclable materials. These materials need to be reprocessed into tools needed to create permanent change. This will eliminate the scarcity that is crippling the world. Thanks to the wasteful nature of the cyclical consumption, there are more resources available than are actually in use at any given time. Although through the repurposing of obsolete electronics and reprocessing of materials, we can build a sub-economic structure that can care for the masses as well as create greater stability for everybody. Right? Hypothetically speaking, if there was a true global monetary collapse, which the world banking system seemed to be heading for due to increasing, well, infinite growth is simply not possible. I'm not talking about just a single country, their money failing, their currency failing and having to switch. Let's consider for a moment what would happen if the monetary system totally collapsed today. Riots would begin as people could no longer get to their now worthless money. People would stop going to their jobs that they hate anyway. Trucks, trains, ships would stop delivering goods needed to keep the system going. Within a month, power stations would run out of fuel, and the country would go dark, which means the end of all public services such as water, sewage, and landfills all shut down. Millions would pour out of the cities in search of food, decimating wildlife, while militia-type hunting parties plunder every home along their path. This is the part of the conversation where usually somebody says, I've got a gazillion rounds of ammo stockpiled, and then they start naming off enough guns to pretty much arm a small nation. And I can't help but wonder how they plan to use more than one of them when millions of desperate people just keep coming. By this point, martial law would be in effect. Simply for a daily meal and the promise of back pay when everything is sorted out, soldiers will stay at their post and follow orders to do anything necessary to keep order. All in all, it's not the government I fear on that day, since they will be one of the only hopes for restoring some semblance of order. It is the desperate mother and father that will, with the starving and sick children, that I fear. When the rational logic required to build a resource economy is lost, our opportunity to create a sustainable system will go with it. Even on a smaller scale, civil unrest and economic distress benefits no one. This is why building a sub-economic structure based on resource economics is so important. It will allow for the emergence of resource economics rather than starting from scratch in the midst of chaos. Government shutdowns have become commonplace, which has many unpleasant side effects. Faith is lost in elected officials creating a revolving door of new faces that simply don't have the time or money to make any significant improvements. Businesses suffer in the downturn of stock markets, and in turn, individuals lose their jobs, reducing the buying power and the tax base on both fronts. Unemployment, welfare, and social services that sustain the poor are increasingly overburdening the system, which further adds to the budget crunch. It is a self-perpetuating downward spiral that we are not ready for. But all is not lost yet. We have the knowledge and power to stop this spiral into oblivion, or at least slow it down. Together we can create a resource sub-economy to act as a safety net. This will reduce the economic burdens of the government through sustainable means and serve as an example when the total monetary system does fail. We can build a system that will provide for the hungry so that the old don't have to decide between food and medicine, and the poor don't have to steal to eat. In time, we can build the infrastructure required for logistics that will actually last. Housing, fresh water, and electrical shortages can come to an end. That is a way to ensure domestic tranquility. Everywhere is our home, and we must treat each other treat it as such. Today, the Zeitgeist movement is extremely important. The word must be spread quickly to everyone, from senators to the greeter at Walmart. Each must understand resource economics and the benefits it can bring to the world. For us, our children, our grandchildren, and many generations to come, spread the word. Thank you. right.
I think if more people heard what he just said, it would entice them to learn more.
Well, they're gonna get a chance.
Excellent.
Hopefully we've got a good recording here, and
I
I'll
hope
spend
so.
my time in the next few weeks putting something together and trying to get something up on the North Carolina website. And because of my connection with the Zeitgeist movement, we have a global network of chapters, so it'll get shared.
Well, thank you.
It'll get shared all around the world.
Is there any way to take that into the schools?
Well, if you can find a way,
There's,
it's up to us to do this. Nobody's gonna do this for us.
I know, but I'm just saying.
There's no money to be made in this,
yeah.
I know.
only a life.
I'm thinking about the audiences that this needs to get to.
If you can get a young person to listen that is tired of the hurt that has been brought into their lives through the monetary system and get them to understand, it will enter the schools. They will stand up and preach loud and clear every word.
Actually, there's a lot of kids that are already involved in the Zeitgeist movement.
See, that's what I was asking. I didn't know that.
There's a good many teachers that are also looking at this. They're actually interested in education, which is a big help. It's the people who
There's a
want to
lot of
learn.
people involved around the world, and there are a lot of people that have been exposed to one degree or another. So it's also a process. I mean, you've been introduced to a lot of these ideas for the first time. It's going to take you a while to think about these things and think about what the implications of these things are for you, and what this means, and the way you behave, and the values that you hold important. And you're going to start finding things are going to change for you because you have understandings now you didn't have before. That process is ongoing. It doesn't stop. So it's happening for each of us as individuals, but the more people that we share this with, the more it happens with them. And that process is what needs to go forward in order to make this change big enough to have an impact, to make a difference. We're still at the very, very beginning stages of this. The Zeitgeist movement is only 6 years old. And yet, it's really, from the way I see it, it's the only way in which we're ever going to change anything of substantial nature in terms of the direction that we're heading in right now. What we're doing is unsustainable in every way, shape, and form that you can imagine. And the only thing that's going to make any difference is if we start addressing these issues that we're talking about. So these understandings, starting with yourself and then trying to share this with as many people as possible is where it starts, what it comes down to. And people are trying projects like the Monroe Sharing Garden, like Transition Asheville. They're all doing things that are moving in that direction, but they're a lot of times just faltering steps because they don't have the core understanding of the deep values within society that are causing these problems. And that's what has to start changing. That's what has to eventually change for all of us. You start seeing the world, when you understand a lot of these things, you start seeing everything in the world in a different way
Yeah,
than you did
definitely.
before.
Definitely. And I want to keep seeing those changes. That's why I think we need active people together.
I agree with you. That's what we're trying to do. That's why I'm here today. Well, it's after
Right.
5.
Yeah, we got to get going.
Yeah.
I have to, if you guys want to hang around and help me clean up, I've got lots of
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
to do here. I have another video I can put on for a little while, and we can sort of watch that while we're doing things. If you want, we tear things down and clean up. Help direct everybody.
All right.
Unfortunately, we can't see too much through that out.
If you need to go ahead.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll see what comes out of it. See if we can
I
do
hope
something.
so.